Hey there, kids. Hey there, boys and girls, ladies and gents, my movie maniacs, and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. How the hell are you, all right? Hey, well, welcome to this Thirsty Thursday, this pre-Friday. It's almost the weekend, and this is Movies Merica spoiler warning. And as always, I am your not-so-humble host, Van Eberts, and we are going to be talking about the #1 box office hits of this last weekend. But that's pretty much the only positive thing that I'm going to have to say about this movie here, okay? Because, yes, it was #1 at the box office, but it came out when there was barely any competition whatsoever. I mean, I think like Butt Pimple, the motion picture, was the only other comment. And then like Belly Button Lint, A Love Story, I think was the other big movie. Well, okay. Maybe neither of those movies really exist in real life, but let's just say it was a very slow weekend at the box office, making it very easy for tonight's movie, one battle after another, to come in at #1. Okay, so, but anyway, let's do this here. We're going to get into the show, but first, this.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, everybody. Hey, again, welcome, especially to my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics out there. And yeah, this is one of the rare shows where you get to talk all about typically the latest movies, but on a live basis here, okay? Because most movie review shows on YouTube, Rumble, wherever, they're all pre-recorded, slickly edited. You know, they got movie scenes, intercut, and all that stuff. Not this one. All right. I am rolling out here, raw dogging it here, live, and anything could happen. I could have a terrible video quality. I could have a booger fall out of my nose. I could, have, some Islamic terrorists break into my room here and kidnap me, all live on air right here, because we're live, and that's the risk I take for you. Okay, there you go. So don't ever say I don't do anything for you. But a perk of going live is the fact that we have live chat available to us. Okay, and so that gives me the extreme pleasure of hearing from you live, okay, here via the live chat. And so, yeah, live chat with me all about one battle after another, any Leo DiCaprio movie you want, any movie you want. I mean, the live chat's open for your chatting pleasure. I'm not going to set rules as far as what you can live chat about, man. That's just not my bag, baby, okay, not at all. So I'm not all about restrictions and all that stuff. I'm not down with that, but yes, you can live chat on Rumble or YouTube. And I think on both those platforms, I think simply it's just like a live chat button. So if you're watching the show, you're going to see a number of different buttons down there. And one of them is going to say chat or live chat. And just click on that. And once you click on that button, no one's going to know you're in the live chat yet until you message something. So you're good to go. But yeah, get in the live chat. Hey, get in the live chat. At least, if this is your only live chat of the evening, that's totally cool. But just get in the live chat. Just give me a thumbs up. There you go. A thumbs up emoji. There you go. Just say hi. There you go. That's all you got to do. Okay. That's it. And now if you want to do a lot more than that, hey, by all means, you want to live chat more than that, by all means, go ahead and do that right here. But all right, let's go ahead and let's get into the rest of the show. All right, so we've got plenty of one battle after another to talk about here. And so because we have so much to talk about, I'm going to get a big old drink off my brewski here, which I will be talking about a little later on. That's good. That's good. There you go. All right. So one battle after another. Okay. It's the movie that if you pay attention to politics, if you pay attention to the what the left is into, what the right is into, what the platforms are on the left, what the platforms are on the right, what each side really cherishes, and you see this movie, you're going to realize real quick, okay, this side's going to hate this movie. This side's going to have an O-face about this movie for 25 hours a day, 8 days a week for probably about the next year, okay? And so that's one battle after another. That's a characteristic about it right there. It is not a let's just bring everybody all together, or this movie is going to have something for everybody, or this movie's so entertaining, everyone's going to be walk out of theater. You could have your Bernie Bro t-shirt on, and the other guy could be wearing a MAGA hat, and you're both going to be fist bumping and fist bumping, and high-fiving each other out, when you walk out of this movie, because it's so exciting, it's so cool, it's so inspirational. One battle after another, ate that movie. That is for sure. Okay, one battle after another, to me, is one description I would give one battle after another is that I think that it is the ultimate passive-aggressive cinematic screw you to Donald Trump and MAGA, and probably like conservatives overall, but especially to the big orange one in the Oval Office, and the MAGA the MAGA guys that are the MAGA crew that would go as far as to wear a MAGA hat and have a Trump 2028 flag flying out the back of their big old pickup truck. That crew, especially, it's a big bird flip to that crew right there, where it's also at the same time sucking face with the people that sit on their bellies, with their face in their hands, kicking their legs back and forth while watching The View, and just enjoying every syllable that comes out of Joy Behar's mouth. Okay. That crew is going to love this movie. Okay. I mean, Whoopi, Joy, Sonny Hostin, Michael Moore, Keith Olbermann, everybody you would imagine on the left is just going to be just say enjoying themselves. They're going to get a lot of pleasure from this movie, because this is catnip for them right here, and it's intentional, and so that's why it's very easy to see. Oh, that's why most movie critics love this movie, because most movie critics are massive lefty lemmings, and they're still crying about Kamala losing, and they all go to sleep on their Bernie Sanders sleeping bags. They love it. I mean, they're on the left, and so this movie is geared for them right there. And so, and then the people, conservatives, they're gonna hate this. They're gonna hate this movie right here. But that's kind of my broad description of this movie, and I have no doubt, make no mistake, one battle after another, it's going to be nominated for every conceivable Oscars category you can think of. Okay, if there's a best butt wiper category, I mean, this movie's going to get that too. Okay, the best waxed linoleum floor, it's going to get that award too. It's going to get nominated for everything. Okay, because this movie has everything that leftists, which includes Oscar voters, everything they lap up. I mean, just keep ladling this, ladling this into their dog dish, and there's going to be keep chopping it up. I mean, these liberal dogs are just going to be lapping that up left and right, and so this is going to be nominated for every category Now that's as long as it doesn't make the same mistake as that Amelia Perez movie last year, the one where the dude pretending to be a man or dude pretending to be a woman almost won Best Actress, which would have been hilarious if we would have we would have had a man win the Best Actress category, and then all the actual real women would have had to like sit there and pretend to be happy, like, oh, yay for you. Yay. That would have been hilarious. But the star of Amelia Perez, I guess he had sent out some tweets or something on social media that was, what do they call it? It was, I don't know, it was homophobic or xenophobic or racist or something. It was one of the S or one of the phobes that he sent out. And so it was considered persona non grata. And so Amelia Perez, I guess, didn't clean up at the Oscars like everyone thought originally was going to there, because that was another movie that just ladled up all the stuff that your not so friendly neighborhood leftist loves. Okay, and so one battle after another, it serves all that up as well right there. It gives them it in mass quantities here. So unless they uncover some dirt on one of the stars, then it's going to be nominated for everything. So and one other thing that might keep it from being nominated in all the categories is if somebody associated with the movie says something even remotely nice about Trump and or the over half of the rest of the country that would rather floss with barbed wire than see this movie here. Okay, and like I said, this movie's catnip. It's mother's milk for leftist Hollywood. And actually, let's check some of these videos out here real quick here, because I don't want you to have to expect I don't want you to have to believe me with what I am talking about right here. So let's do this here, and I'll share this and show you just some video proof here of the fact that there are some people that are just worshiping this movie here. So let's do that. There we go. Get that over here. Get your full screen. Let's play that bad boy.
Okay, so here is my impression of the 2026 Oscars. And the winner of every single Oscar possible is Paul Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another. Woo! Hi everyone, welcome back. As you can tell by my very enthused intro, today we are chatting about PTA's latest film, One Battle After Another. This is a capital F film that I'm very excited to talk about.
So you see right there exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so I do not lie. Now that's only one example right there here. Let's see here. Let's tantalize you with one other one here as well. Let's do this. And yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Let's get over here. Okay. All right, let's do that. There we go. I'm going to do this here. Okay. My computer does not want to work with me here. So what is going on here? Let's do this. Let's get that going on. And all right. Let's try this. Oh, here we go. I think we're getting somewhere. Finally getting somewhere, everybody. Finally. And let's get that full screen there.
Be a one back, but it basically starts like a modern Thelma and Louise, I thought, with a terrorist twist, if you will.
I wasn't thinking Thelma and Louise, but certainly...
Or sorry, not Thelma. God damn it, I wrote it down wrong. Bonnie and Clyde. That's what I was thinking.
Okay, all right.
You know, the guy and the woman, I guess, is just surface level.
I get, because when it starts, it's just, I mean, domestic rebels.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I guess terrorists, depending on who, you know, what your perspective is.
It's what it would be labeled as in that world.
Yeah, definitely would be labeled as terrorists. But, you know, from our perspective, we see them as rebels.
Yeah, or even just people. And who knew that domestic terrorism was so romantic.
Right.
So right there, you see that these guys about the characters, the members of the domestic terrorists, or basically the Antifa-like group, the French 75 that is featured in One Battle After Another, the ones that blow up buildings and rob banks and kill security guards and break into illegal alien detention centers and free all the illegal aliens and all that stuff. They're calling they'd rather call them like rebels. Okay, or as this dipshit in the Hawaiian shirt, he says, "Oh, they're just people." Like they clearly endorse that. They like that. They like that. Like what they're doing here. There we go. And so yeah, they rationalize these characters doing that in the movie, and that tells you that they would rationalize people doing that in real life right there. Again, people that share their political beliefs, blowing up buildings, robbing banks, killing people, that kind of thing. Tells us that they would rationalize that because the people doing that, they share our same beliefs. That's all good to go. But that's this crew right here. Okay, let's see if we can do this here real quick. Okay, let's try. I got one more here. All right, let's get that going on. Nope. Okay. Want to kill that. And let's do this. Oh, yeah, I've got all kinds of video proof for you. So then you don't have to take my word for it right here. Which one is that? Problem is, like, they all start with, I'm going to get rid of that one. There we go. Another. All these things start with one battle after another, so it's hard to tell which is which. All right, so one battle after another. Okay. There we go. Get this going on. Let's check that out. And this is from Ringer Movies is what this is from. So let's get that going on here. Play this up.
Teyana Taylor, Sean Penn, Chase Infiniti, Regina Hall, Benicio Del Toro, Wood Harris, Alana Haim, Tony Goldwyn, many other folks. Let's jump into it.
Mm-hmm.
Last night we saw it together.
Yes.
It was my third viewing. It was Amanda's second viewing. It was Chris's first viewing.
Pop my cherry.
Popped your cherry. Amanda, I will start with you. What did you think of One Battle After Another?
This is the movie of the year, and the movie of the decade, probably. And I mean that both in the sense of it is the best movie of the year and the best movie of the decade so far, but also is a movie of this moment and of these really fucked up 5 years that we in America have been living in a.
So clearly, she is someone that's been thoroughly marinated at a commie cathedral, aka universities, colleges, whatever you want to have right here. And so she's been very communized. Is that a word? Well, it is now. So there you go. So that's why she's having this reaction. And then on top of that, I'm sure she's just lives in circles of friends that have also been properly indoctrinated at commie cathedrals. And so she's got her bubble that she lives in. And so all three of these guys at this table all have been properly marinated in commie crap through colleges and universities right here.
Startling way, especially given how long PTA has been working on it in one form or another and how long it takes movies to make. It is jarringly prescient and timely and just feels like it is.
So you get the idea here. So she drops to her knees at the altar of One Battle After Another every night that she can, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week, 369 days a year. Okay, she's gonna do that to this movie, and it's amazing, like just seeing this broad-based, widespread movie worship for One Battle After Another amongst most of the movie critics that are out there. Okay, so that the usual suspects that you would think would love a movie like this. It's just amazing how you can just draw a delineating line right along the people, the critics that would actually love this movie here. So now, as you know, there's a few movie critics out there in the world that are conservative. I mean, you've got your Christian Totos, you got this guy right here. Even though I think I'd like to refer to myself more as common sense. And if someone wants to call me, slap their label conservative on it, that's fine. You got Chris Gore, Alan Ing. You got a whole bevy of different notable film reviewers that I guess some people would consider more conservative or more moderate, more open-minded to both sides and that kind of thing. So not people that are immediate, are quick to just, immediately demonize the other side. Those kind of critics right there. And so those critics, they are not on team one battle after another whatsoever right there. So and I thought I saw something out of the corner of my eye. I see a Sarai here in the live chat here. And welcome. Good to see you here talking about one battle after another. And she spits some major wisdom. Darn commies. There, yep, exactly. So, yeah, we pretty much have, a bunch of Kremlins here in America. And they go by the names of, things like Harvard, Brown, Rutgers, Yale, Stanford, name Michigan, all these universities here. And so there's like a little Kremlins right in the middle of our country here. And then they turn out these people that love one battle after another here tonight there. So, but I just want to give you some video proof of some leftists sucking pretty hard on one battle after another here. And remember, the people that saw this and can't stop worshiping it are the kind of people that watch news footage of pro-illegal alien rioters versus ICE agents and actually root for the rioters. Okay, I know we've all seen it like you'll turn on the TV, you turn on Fox News or News Nation or CNN or MSDNC, and it'll be like, helicopter footage or something like that, or it'll be some on-the-street reporter with footage of, an ICE facility, and you'll have a bunch of, pro-illegal alien ghouls out there, and, they all pretty much look the same. They're all head to toe black. They're all out there with their black umbrellas. They look they're like 5 times, like they have 5 times, more body fat on them than they should, tatted from top to bottom, purple hair, not 1 square inch on their body that isn't pierced. Okay. And, they're the Vato gangs, they're out there screaming, because, their first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth cousins are all illegal. And they're probably illegal too. Their grandma, their uncle, they're all illegal. And so they're out there and they're throwing rocks at ICE and burning up cars and all that stuff, while ICE is simply trying to, enforce the law, okay, out there. And so when, the people that I just showed you a video of, when they see that footage, they're like, yeah, all right, scumbags, all right. Well, they wouldn't call them scumbags. They would call them like those guys earlier. They would call them rebels. Okay, they would say, yeah, rebel, grab that big old rock and hit that ICE agent right in the face. Yeah, there you go. And so, when that ICE agent gets a rock right to the face, or an ICE agent gets shot, the one battle after another, fangirls that I just showed you, they cheer. Okay, they bust up the pom-poms. They love it. And since one battle after another features the main characters outwitting the immigration enforcement officers, which we've established these America haters like, no wonder they're orgasmic about one battle after another. Okay, so they are just incredible as far as how psychotic they are in the fact that they hate America so much that they hate law enforcement officers that are are just going out there and they're getting people that have broken into our country. Okay, so call me crazy, maybe you're the same way. I consider the United States, I consider America my home for obvious reasons, right? I live here; it's my home, right? And obviously, I have my place, my actual home that I live in. But where's that? It's in America. I consider America my home. And so, just like your actual home, if some dipshit just broke into your house, raided your fridge, camped out on your couch, grabbed your remote control, started watching all your stuff, and then jumped in your shower, was running all your water and running up your water bill and running up your electric bill, and trying to get frisky with your wife and all that stuff. Like, that's somebody that broke into your house. You'd be like, get him the hell out of here. What the hell? This guy's a leech. Get him out of here. I didn't invite this guy in here anyway. He broke into my house. Get him out. Okay. And that's the same way I feel about illegal aliens, because America is my house. And you wouldn't feel that way about your house if, someone broke into your house and started using all your stuff. If you didn't really care about your house, if you thought your house was terrible, you thought your wife was terrible, your family was terrible, and you just wanted to get out of the situation, you wouldn't care about if somebody was breaking your house, right? You'd be like, hey, there's the fridge right there, and hey, there's a remote control right there, and hey, the jewelry is upstairs in the master bedroom. Have at it, man. Go crazy. You wouldn't care because you hate your house, you hate where you live, you hate your environment right there. But if you love your environment, then yeah, someone breaks into your house, you'd be like, get your ass out of here. Hey, anybody who's available to kick this guy out of here, this guy that broke into my house, come get him out of here, okay? And so that tells me something about the people that don't care if we have illegal aliens in this country. It tells me that they really hate America. They hate America. They don't think of America as their house. They don't think of it as their home. They don't care. They find it offensive, and so they're like, "Oh, yeah, people, come on in, break in, yeah, come on, raid America's fridge, yeah, sleep in America's bed, yeah, oh yeah, yeah, you got to run up America's electric bill. Go ahead, yeah, do what you want." Where people that love America and know that most, if not all, the rest of the world pales in comparison to America, those people, they're the ones that are like, get the hell out of here, okay? Yeah, we'll take immigrants in here, but we'll take them legally, okay? We're not letting you just jump across the river and come in here illegally and suck up all our resources and whatnot, okay? I know you guys have fangirls that are cheering you on, but those are the American citizens that shouldn't be American citizens, but those are the American citizens that hate this country and are too stupid to know how good they have it right here. So those are the people that hate America and root on the illegal aliens. They love one battle after another. They're the ones that, they might need some paper towels and a bottle of Jergens after every viewing of one battle after another, if you know what I'm saying, right here. So, and Sarai coming with the knowledge. She says she keeps tabs on local Demme activities. They have literal training sessions to oppose ICE, acting like they are the modern Underground Railroad. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I like the nerve of them, equating, acting like, they're Sheila Tubman and the Underground Railroad. I mean, this is who we're dealing with, people. These people are stupid enough to equate illegal aliens with, Anne Frank and her family hiding in the attic, in Holland, from the Nazis. They equate illegal aliens from slaves escaping the plantations in the South that were run by mostly Democrats. Okay, if not all Democrats, and in getting help from the Underground Railroad. These people are so stupid that they make this moral equivalency. They create this false equivalency between illegal aliens that broke into our country. We didn't go down to their country and get them. They came here. They broke in our country. They broke into our house. They're equating that with Jews that lived in Germany, that were German citizens, being kicked out of where they lived, put into ghettos. They're equating it to slaves that thankfully escaped plantations and were trying to find their freedom and got help through the Underground Railroad. Yeah, the people that are fans of one battle after another are people that are stupid enough to make those same equivalences right there. So that's just to give you an idea of who we're dealing with right there. So absolutely a great point there, Sarai there. And Liberated Podcast, welcome to the show here, and good to see you here. And thank you for bringing the liberation to Movies Merica. Spoiler warning right here. And yes, they say they want us to pay for the illegals with our taxpayer money. I have a suggestion. If they want to give money to illegals, they should have to pay for them. Exactly correct. Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So like, and I think like, I would have no problem with having like the Doge team, like the brainiacs that were, part of Doge, like going and looking at people's social media and finding the ones that just constantly put up posts like, these poor illegal aliens, you should let them in. How dare ICE go after them? Like just see the ones that post stuff like that, and then basically take like just garnish their wages or something like that. Garnish their wages and take that money to support the illegal aliens, because surely the people wouldn't have a problem with having their wages garnished. I mean, surely they would back up all their rhetoric with action, right? They would have no problem with the United States government, forcing them to back up all their illegal alien worshiping bullshit from social media with action. There you go. So exactly, Liberated Podcast. You know what? We park our car in the same garage on that one right there, and I'm very good here tonight here to answer your question as well. But I'd be better if I get myself a good old drink off my big brewski right here, and so I'm going to do exactly that. Excellent. Real quick. Let me do this here real quick. Let me do a little housekeeping here. And let's do this. I just want to check something out here. And just, how it is. Like if you're a content creator and you got a live stream here and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot to do something here. So I want to let everybody know the good news here. So real quick, if you'll bear with me just a minute. And, hey, just take this opportunity to, get a big old drink on, on whatever you're drinking out there. So I don't know if Sarai, what you're drinking on, or Liberated Podcast, what you guys are downing right now. But, yeah, go ahead and, take it all in. This is a chance to relax, chill, ease your mind here on Movies Merica. Spoiler warning, because it is almost the weekend. So, but let's do this. All right. Just keeping people informed here, everybody. All right, there we go. Getting this over here. And yeah, it's fascinating. Like you could tell that a lot of people that equate the Underground Railroad that Sarai was talking about with the ICE, with the illegal aliens right here, they have no understanding of history whatsoever. What the only understanding they have are what the black turtlenecked professors / communists that were indoctrinating them in college taught them. All right, what those communists in college wanted them to know about history right there. I mean, because as far as I know, they probably think America invented slavery. like we even saw remember Hillary Clinton's running mate, her VP pick back in 2016. Was that not Tim? Was it not? I can't remember what his name is. His name isn't even worth remembering right here. But her VP pick was saying that, oh yeah, America it invented slavery, and then of course he backtracked after everyone rightfully corrected that dum right there. So you bet. All right, let's do this here real quick. And hey, let me take this opportunity here to ask you if you would to hit that like button right on down there. It's right down there calling to you, okay? And then while you're down there clicking buttons, if you would also click on that subscribe or follow button, also down there, okay? And I mean at the bottom of the screen. I'm not pointing at my crotch, okay? I'm not a perv. not tonight. But anyway, so yeah, hit the subscribe or follow button there. And then also, there's another button that you can click on called the notification bell. And that is exactly what it sounds like. It'll send you an email, letting you know when there's a piping hot, sizzling fresh episode of Movies Merica coming hot out of the oven just for you, all right? And then for my folks that are not watching live, but they're watching the recording of it, hey, well, first off, thanks off. Hi, thanks for watching. And just want to let you know that we can still communicate with each other, even though you're not here to be in the live chat, but we can communicate with each other, but we're just going to have to do it via the comments that are also down below, okay? So go ahead and click that as I hit my desk. And yeah, get in the comments. Yeah, let me know, hey, what did you think of One Battle After Another, if you've seen it? Or hey, let me know what your favorite Leo DiCaprio movie is, or hey, whatever you want to comment to me about, by all means. Hey, if you want to say, hey, Van, I really hate it when you do this right there. You drives me freaking nuts when you do this. Or hey, Van, I really like it when you do this right here. Do more of it, all right? Up those numbers on. Yeah, I love that too. Or if you just want to just blow smoke up my butt and kiss my ass and in the comments section, totally encouraged. I love it right there. I'm not above having my ego inflated, that's for sure. So I love it. All right here. So let's do this here. I always want to make sure that I keep a clean docket over here and make sure that I'm following things to the letter. All right. So let's press on. And what do we got over here in the live chat here? Getting some good formats, or getting some good input here on the live chat real quick here. So we'll get into here. Check this out. There we go. And yeah, Sarai goes on to say here, if I can actually get my mouse here to work. I remember how negative America, its founders, and Christian figures were painted in high school. Karl Marx was talked about positively, of course. Communism has been marinating in schools for quite the while right there. So yeah, exactly. You speaketh the trutheth right there, because the communists, what they call it is they call it the long march through the institutions, as I'm over here trying to hook up my mouse here so I can get it to charge up, because I think it died on me. But yeah, they call it the long march through the institutions there. And one knock on conservatives, Republicans, whatever you want to call them, is that they think very short term, okay? They think in terms of, we have to win the next election, where the left, communism, communists, whatever you want to call them, they think long term, okay? So back in the 50s, and maybe even before that, you've got communists that were infiltrating institutions like Hollywood, academia, the church, government, all of that stuff. But where the widespread belief is, where they first attacked, where they first decided to, the first institution that they sowed their seed and they decided to try to take over was academia. So they got into American colleges, universities, and now they didn't get into the colleges and say, hey, everybody, hey, Mr. Commie over here. Hey, where can we spread communism in here? Like, no, they didn't do that. They weren't that overt with it, right? I mean, they just kind of like planted stuff like, is America that great? I couldn't help but remember that those founding fathers, they did own slaves, didn't they? Yeah, they did. Oh, yeah. So what about that whole "in liberty for all" thing? Pretty hypocritical, don't you think? Yeah. Well, you know what? I think what we should do here, in the interest of revealing all history and being totally forthcoming, is we should laser focus on how the founding fathers had slaves and not on anything else that they did. All the good stuff they did, no, let's just completely forget about that. Let's laser focus on them having slaves. There you go. And so it was like little stuff like that. They just kind of like, kind of embedded little things like that, not over minutes, not over hours, not over days, years, okay? And then they taught their understudy, and then their understudy taught their understudy, and so on and so forth over the course of decades. And of course, the whole time, they were getting, fresh batches of young, impressionable minds from high schools just coming in like cattle, into these commie cathedrals. And, the college kids are at that perfect age to be indoctrinated too, right? Because a lot of college kids that come in from high school, they're like, thank God I'm away from mom and dad. My God, they were so oppressive. They're always up on my business. And, now I finally get to be out on my own. I'm here in college. And, oh, my professor, he's so cool or she's so cool. Oh, man. And they're ripe for believing every single syllable that comes out of their professor/communist mouth. And so that happens over decades and decades and decades over there. And so, like Sarai was saying, it's been marinating in there, okay? In these colleges for years and years and years. And because it took years and years and years, it's going to take years and years and years. And I don't know how many times else I can use the word years, but it's going to take years and years and years to recover from that. I'm probably going to be dead. I'm going to well be dead by the time that we recover and get the America that we love back, okay? Because I point the fingers of blame at myself too, because I remember I basically just went through my life, just living my life, completely oblivious to this whole concept of communism, doing this long march to the institutions and taking over academia and the church and Hollywood, pop culture, government, all these institutions. I was completely oblivious to it. I was like just walking through life like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Hey, when's the game on? And completely oblivious to it until it was too late, right? And the first time I noticed it was, ironically enough, at a point where I thought things were going to get better. Okay, I noticed it first when we got our first black president, Barack Obama. I remember stupid naive me. I thought, man, we're going to get our first black president, Barack Obama. Sure, his policies suck ass, and I didn't vote for him, but hey, I think at the very least, this will help bring white and black closer together. We are finally going to have this massive boost in racial harmony because we have our first black president. How can you call the country a country that voted a black president? How can you call this country racist? All right, everybody, get ready for the racial harmony. All right. And of course, Barack Obama, that's the last thing he wanted. Okay. Racial harmony, a happy, harmonious America where all races get along with each other. That's the last thing that guy wanted. Okay. Because he is part of that long march to the institutions. Okay. He is a communist. He is a Marxist. Okay. And again, talk about playing the long game. He's part of playing the long game. He's one of the people that play the long game. He's like, I can't change things by just being some community organizer in Chicago. I got to play the game. I got to get up to the tippy top. I got to get to that position where I'm flying around on Air Force One and I'm sitting behind the Resolute desk for me to cause real damage. Okay. And so, he, along with the help of a bunch of other people, got him in the tippy top spot right there where he could wreak the most damage. And boy, did he. And from the damage that he created, that's the first time that even this ignorant guy noticed, oh my God, we're surrounded by commies. Oh my God, look how much shit is tore up. Oh my God. And so, yeah, the thing that I thought was going to bring harmony to the country actually ended up being the thing that opened up my eyes and exposed me to how, like, the fact that we have this nefarious plot going on underneath my feet and everybody else's feet here in this country right here. And it still floors me how completely oblivious I was during all that time. And I made a pact to myself, I'm sure Sarai and Liberated podcast have, to themselves, like, never again. I am never going to be that oblivious and unprepared. Or maybe I should speak for myself. Maybe you guys were completely aware of the whole thing the whole time. I shouldn't put that on you guys right there. But and Sarai says they stopped teaching civic duty, so the government became more powerful than the people. We got too comfortable with modern conveniences to think about politics. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've got too many people where you go up there and you talk to them about, hey, did you hear about how the ICE raids or how the at the ICE detention facilities, all these people were rioting and throwing rocks at the ICE agents? No, I never heard about that. Hey, so when's the game on? Like, we got too many people like that who wouldn't know civics from a hole in the ground. Okay, they don't know that it's their duty to get their fat ass off the couch and go vote in the primaries and go someplace, go online and research people's platforms. What's that? Ballotpedia? Is that the app like Ballotpedia, or it's at least a website, Ballotpedia, where you can go and you can very quickly see what the platform of politicians are, so you can make an educated choice as far as who you vote for. But yeah, Sarai's right. Yeah, they forget their civic duty and they just leave. They just let the country coast, and they just think that, hey, everything's just going to take care of itself. All right, I don't need to vote. Okay, and and the government takes advantage of that. The government the people that get elected are the most corruptible, the most devious, most nefarious. Okay, and pretty soon you've elected a bunch of people that they don't love America. They just see it as a venue to make themselves more money. Okay, and the people that they hate the most, American citizens, because you have all these politicians here, and they hate the fact that every 2 or 4 or 6 years they have to go out there. They have to pretend that they like other people. These other people called American citizens, right? They have to pretend, and that's the kind of politicians we get. Whereas if more people, took advantage or obligated themselves to their civic duty and went out there and elected good people in the primaries, okay, not just the general. I know the general presidential election is the sexy election that takes place every 4 years. I know it's the exciting one, all right, but you've got to get out there, get your fat ass off your couch and get out there for the primary elections, okay, and your local elections right there, okay? It's the least you could do, okay? It's very easy. You get in your car, you go to your local library or your local wherever your voting place is and whatnot, and you go in there and you vote, and you can make your life much better, okay? You got to wise up, make your life much better, especially locally, because your local politicians and local policies, that affects you a lot more than federal policies do right there. So right. Yeah. And moderate conveniences to think about politics. Exactly. People, I mean, we're so pampered nowadays, right? I mean, we're getting so close to that movie. You remember the Pixar movie WALL-E, where people literally just sitting down, floating around in these things where they don't have to walk. They're a bunch of fat asses just shoveling junk into their pie hole. All right, just watching TV the whole time there. And because of that, people just like, oh man, I'm too tired to get up and go do my civic duty and that kind of thing. So yeah. And hey, we got Lindy Rig 87 up here in the live chat here. Welcome right there. And he's Lindy Rig 87 is bringing himself and his Patriot Front in here. So absolutely. So hey, welcome, Feds. I'm looking for the masked up Patriot Front numbnuts up here in the live chat right there. And Illiberated Podcast. Politicians shouldn't get paid. They should just do it out of the love for their country. We change that, and that's when America will be back there. Yeah, exactly. I mean, if we got people that were truly successful people, okay, and we didn't dissuade people that made it on the outside, the people that made it outside of politics, if we created a better environment that fosters them running for office, like more Trumps, right? Like Trump was successful out in the private sector, and now he's doing a politics thing right here. Most politicians outside of politics, they are complete failures. Okay, most politicians, they only get into politics because they want the perks of being. They want the perks that rich people get without having to become rich. Okay, they know that they don't have any talent enough to make it and become rich in the private sector. So they're like, well, I can kiss the right asses. I can kiss babies and shake hands and get out there, and I could take bribes and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, I'll be a politician, and yeah, next thing you know, I'm getting flown over for junkets and flown over, for all these these swanky trips over to this foreign country and that foreign country. I'm getting all the perks of being a rich person here without actually having the talent there. It's perfect right there. And so if you got the people that actually were successful in the private sector, well, they wouldn't need the money that politicians make. Okay, so you would have people that would do it for the love of their country, like Trump. Okay, because Trump he doesn't take a paycheck for his job. I mean, he doesn't need to. All right, like he donates his paycheck out there. I think like right now he's I can't remember how it was. He's making money somehow, and I can't remember. He has some kind of endeavor. He's making money now, and he's using it to build the ballroom on the east lawn or south lawn or somewhere around the White House. He's using it to build the ballroom so that the taxpayers don't have to pay for a ballroom. Doing stuff like that. Do you think like there is a? Do you think like there's most politicians would do that? Hell no. Right there. Liberated Podcast. There's two chats. So Sarai and Lindy Ring 87. They are in the other Rumble chat. So there's two Rumble streams of this show, and then there's a YouTube stream as well. And so if you go here, let me do this here for you, Liberated Podcaster. Let's see here. I'll send you this one. Send you the link to the stream that Sarai and Lindy Rig 87 are in. So then that way you have the option of getting in with them here. And there's that link. There you go. All right, there. Hopefully that helps out there. So, all right. And check it out. Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah. It's because I mean government. I mean, when I hear government nowadays, I think of state, because well-known communist experiments like the Soviet Union, they consider the government. They call the government the state, right? And so that's what I call it. That's what I call the government here in our country too. I'll just call it the state because that's what they're trying to go for there. So that's why. That's why, like, we just heard like Hillary Clinton the other day, right? Where Hillary Clinton was doing that interview, and she's talking about like, well, she doesn't like it how white men of a particular persuasion, of a particular religion, are ruining the progress towards accomplishing what her and other communists wanted to accomplish. She's mad at white. Basically, she's mad at white, straight Christian men, okay? And her totally stupid comment was, they're trying, white Christian, white Christian straight men are trying to take America to a place where it's never been, to a place where America was run by white, straight Christian men. And she's pretending like there was never a time where white, straight Christian men ran the country. Have you ever heard of the founding fathers there, lady? Okay. And so she doesn't want that, because that counters what she really wants. And part of what she really wants is what Sarai was hitting on, where she wants the government to replace family, right? She wants government to be your mom, to be your dad. She wants, we want you to have cradle to grave, mediocre health care, universal basic income. They want you to be beholden to the state, so that when the state says jump, you have to yell how high. That's what they want. They don't want families. They don't want things like families, communities, churches, because if you have those, people are free. They're individualistic. That's a hard word to say. And they don't need the state. They don't need a state. But that's what the state wants. The state wants you to need the state, okay? And so that's there you go. So that's Sorry says government wants me to be a sterilized man. Well, you look nothing like a sterilized man right there. So yeah, they're really gonna have to work to get you to do that right there. All right, let's do this here real quick. All right, good. We got everybody in the same Same right there. And yes, Hakeem is super salty. Exactly. Yeah, he didn't learn the first rule of when someone's giving you shit about something, like don't go out there and go, hey, stop it. Stop giving me shit. Stop making fun of me. It offends me. Like, you never do that. You never do that, because what's that going to invite more? Ridicule. Exactly. There you go. But, no one said the Democrats are particularly smart. All right. There you go. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, actually, make that a T-shirt. Yeah, govern me harder, Daddy. I know, some. You could go sell those at some like No Kings protests or something like that. They would probably sell like hotcakes. You bet. Where are we at real quick here? And I want to make sure we got everything going on here properly, because I like to run a tight ship here. And sometimes, though, that tight ship actually does sink there. So I'm not going to lie. So one thing to get back to the movie, I took a slight detour off the movie right there. But one thing one battle after another does is it accuses the immigration enforcement forces of manufacturing the need to use force against the protesters, because it portrays, there's a scene where, I can't remember what they say, like, call in Eddie Van Halen or something like that. And so then right after Sean Penn's character, Colonel Lockjaw, which is actually his name in the movie, Colonel Lockjaw, like, gets on a squawk box. He's like, send in Eddie Van Halen. And right after that, they cut to some guy, and he's masked. He's masked up. He looks like an Antifa dipshit, right? He walks in with a Molotov cocktail, and he throws it at the cops. And so it's supposed to frame, immigration enforcement officials and law enforcement, overall, of instigating, of creating a need to use force and that kind of thing. And that, again, that's a fantasy of the left right there, okay? Because the left obviously wants to assume the very worst of people that are simply trying to enforce laws that are passed by a Democratic elected Congress right there. But again, like I said before, no one ever accused the left of being smart. Okay, they've got framed pieces of paper up on their walls and all that stuff, and they graduate cum laude or whatever the hell they call that, right? So tells you how smart I am. They got all this academic intelligence. They're very book smart and whatnot, but they're common sense dumb. Okay, and if you weren't common sense dumb, you would know that ICE is just going out there and enforcing the law, okay, out there. So, and then some of them don't like what ICE is doing, because the left, they want all these illegals crawling around in this country. They want them in here. They want them here because they want to use them as part of the census to increase the number of House seats that their states get. See California, or they're hoping that someday they can get illegal aliens to vote, which we know illegal aliens are voting out there. No matter how you're not so friendly neighborhood leftist, and no matter how loud they scream, like, there's no illegal aliens voting. All right, that's just a conservative conspiracy. Well, as we found out, one good example, and people will call this anecdotal, but I remember we had the story recently here where the superintendent of schools in Des Moines, Iowa, turned out he was an illegal alien from Guyana, okay? And that illegal alien from Guyana, he was registered to vote in Maryland. He was voting in Maryland. He's an illegal alien voting in Maryland. So don't try to sell me some bullshit that, well, he was the only one. He was the only one, okay? No. Sell that shit somewhere else, all right? I know there's thousands, if not millions, of illegal aliens that are voting. And so they want these illegal aliens to keep coming to this country because they want that. They want to get it to a point where Democrats never lose another election whatsoever right there. That's why, and I'm sure my friends here in the live chat right here, I'm sure they would agree with me saying, we're not deporting enough fast enough. We need to up those numbers. You know what? Like the Wolf of Wall Street, where Matthew McConaughey is asking Leo DiCaprio, "Hey, how often a day do you jerk off? And or how often do you jerk off?" I was like, I don't know, 2-3 times a week. And Matthew McConaughey is like, those are rookie numbers, man. Those are rookie numbers. You got to pump those numbers up, man. That's what I think about how many illegal aliens we're deporting, man. Trump, Tom Homan, we got to pump those numbers up, man. Let's get out there, okay? If you got to do whatever you got to do to get those dipshit anti-ICE rioters out of your way at the ICE facilities and all that stuff, whatever you got to do to them, I don't care. America's ready. Let's get these illegal aliens the fuck out of here, all right, and make it double time, all right. Get it done fast. Get it done yesterday, right there. Absolutely. And we got, are there weekly retirement home protests near you or near me right there? So, and no, I do not have that near me. Now, the closest to that I saw here actually is, so I live in a college town here in Iowa. And of course, as you know, most college towns are like little, communist, little commie havens, even right in the middle of a red state, right? You can have a red state, and in college towns are like little commie havens full of Bernie bros and, and Hillary hags and all that stuff, and clueless college students, that, wouldn't know the Constitution, from a mental institution. They're just completely stupid, right? And so I say that to say this, that I was driving yesterday, I think it was, and there was a pedestrian bridge over a highway that I was driving on, and they were holding a banner over the pedestrian bridge, said something to the effect of like, stop the Republicans from shutting down the government or something like that, right? And there was a bunch of dipshits up there on the pedestrian bridge. Obviously too stupid to know that it's the Democrats that are shutting down the country. It's too stupid to know it's the Schumer shutdown, not conservatives shutting down the country right there. But, they're good little commies, very impressionable. They don't know any better. And so they were up there. And that's kind of a protest of sorts there. So that's how that goes. And so I do see some of that right there. But yeah, and that's the thing is, you do see the left getting out there and protesting / rioting more than you see the conservatives right there, because you have to realize, okay, like I said, one of the institutions that the commies march through is the church, right? Is religion. Well, since the commies don't have the traditional church that we think of, their church is government. They worship at the altar of government or at the altar of the state, right? And so when they go out there, their worship service, all right, their mass, their worship service, their getting together is protests, is riots, that kind of thing. That's their church, because the state is their church right there. And so that's why you always see a lot more leftists, communists out there protesting and rioting and all that. Plus, on top of that, most if not all of them, they don't have jobs. Okay, they count on you and me to basically pay for all their shit. So there you go. All right, there we. And another thing is, okay, so this movie, One Battle After Another, is directed by acclaimed director Paul Thomas Anderson. And you guys, Paul Thomas Anderson, he directed Boogie Nights, Magnolia. He did There Will Be Blood, The Master, Punch Drunk Love, all these movies, right? All movies that I love. I love all those movies right there. With the exception of I didn't like Inherent Vice. Wasn't a big fan of what was the Phantom Thread. Wasn't a big fan of that movie. But most of Paul Thomas Anderson's movies, or PTA as the elite cinephiles call him, he shows his far left fantastical characterization of how evil people on the right are, according to him, by dropping a subplot into One Battle After Another about a super secret society of elite, powerful white supremacists that, of course, Sean Penn's character, the evil Colonel Lockjaw, wants to get into. And I can't remember what the name of the super secret white supremacist society is. Like the Christmas, It's called the Christmas Adventurers Club. That's what it is. Okay. And he shows Lockjaw wanting to be a part of this elite white supremacist club called the Christmas Adventurers Club, because we have to know that he's such a racist. Okay, like all the white people are in this movie, except for Leo DiCaprio's character Bob right there. But all the other white people in this movie, other than Leo DiCaprio's character, are shown to be all a bunch of racists, misogynist, and xenophobic. A mixture of all kinds of ists and phobes that you can think of right there. Okay, so all right, and I'm going to drink to whenever anybody calls you a ist or a phobe word, just say, you know what, save that shit. That doesn't work on me. Okay, when you call me a racist or a xenophobe, tell them I know I'm not that, and only the weak-minded are scared of those words and being called that right there. So you're going to call me a racist. Well, hey, why are you a pagan globalist? Huh? Why do you hate your country? Why do you care more about Sweden than America? Huh? Why aren't you a God-fearing America? Why do you worship the devil? Huh? Like, go on offense when someone calls you a ist or a phobe word. So there you go. Like I heard the other day, as far as like labels and all that stuff. Of course, as we all know, one of the weak sauce, lame ass tactics that the left is trying to do is they're trying to label certain people. Are trying to label us as Christian nationalists, right? Because they think it sounds scary. Ooh, Christian nationalists. Ooh, wasn't Hitler a Christian nationalist? Ooh, And when someone calls me a Christian nationalist, okay, what I say is, yeah, I'm a Christian and I love my country. Why aren't you? Why don't you love this country, huh? Why, if you don't love this country, what are you still doing here? Get the hell out. All right. And why are you a pagan? Why do you pray to the world? Why are you getting on your knees and praying to the master of the world right there? Why aren't you a Christian? Okay. Why don't you love your fellow man? Okay. Why do you revel in people being killed? Okay. Like, that's all I like to do. Like, throw it right back in their face, instead of like what most, what way too many conservatives do. Oh no, I'm not a Christian nationalist. Don't say that. Don't call me that. No, no, they live for that. That's the exact reaction they're looking for when they call you that. So like, nope. Yeah, you're right. I am a Christian and I do love America. You don't? What's your problem? You're the problem. You sound like the problem. There you go. There you go. I love it. And yeah. Lenny Brigadis said, I've only been called racist by white people. Just saying. Exactly. The irony. I love it. Exactly. Yeah. By the same white people who want cheap labor from immigrants. Yep. Exactly. I mean, that's another reason they want illegal aliens in this country right here, and that includes some conservatives. Like the Chamber of Commerce Republicans. Their whole motto is like, who's going to pick the cotton? Who's gonna pick the fruit and the vegetables and all that stuff? Who's gonna do my lawn? Come on, like, come on! Don't get rid of my indentured slaves. Don't get rid of my indentured servants. Don't get rid of I love it. Okay, there you go. I mean, that's what they want right there. They basically just want. They don't want their slaves to be deported. That's all they want. Okay, where are we at up in here? So. There we go. Oh, I know where we're at. There we go. I know what we're going to do next, everybody. Okay, we're going to switch it up a little bit here. And we're going to switch it up by doing a little brew review time. All right. So in this brew review time, I'm going to bring you the beer for tonight. And that is some Big Grove Brewery Citrus Surfer here. And that comes to us from Big Grove Brewery, and that's in Iowa, is where that comes from. And this is a wheat ale here, and like the label says, like the name implies, it's very citrusy, but it's not too citrusy. Okay, it's not too much. All right, it's not like you're drinking Tang with maybe a little malt, a little barley mixed in. No, it's not that citrusy right there. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And I should say from the jump, I'm not getting any money from Big Grove Brewery. All right. It's a completely objective opinion here on this brew here, a completely objective review here. If it tasted like piss water, I would tell you, okay. But for this one, I'd say it is pretty damn good. It's got a light body, smooth finish here. It doesn't have like a harsh aftertaste or anything like that, so it's not too bitter. And that's amazing with like a citrus wheat beer. Sometimes they're pretty bitter. I mean, you take one drink and you develop 27 canker sores. Okay, now with this stuff right here, and I've drank a lot of this before. This is just the first time I'm reviewing this on Brew Review Time right here. And it's not gonna knock you on your ass with just one can because it's only 4.8% alcohol by volume here. And, like the Academy Award winning actor Adrian Brody, it has a great nose, okay? And, I mean, yeah, obviously it smells like citrus when you try to get its nose. It's got like a little sweetness to it as well. Like a molasses kind of infused sweetness. There's something like that. Yeah, it smells. I could smell this all day long here. As weird as that sounded when I said that, but anyway, but yeah, it's very refreshing, very quenching. I've been out like on a beer patio, or hanging out with friends on their deck, and we've been drinking this Big Grove Brewery Citrus Surfer, and I can tell you, in a hot summer sun, it'll cool you down real quick right there. And also as well, it's a beer that you could drink on a yacht or a bass boat. All right, so. If you're hanging out with Bad Bunny on his yacht, or you're hanging out with, Big Biff on his bass boat, and you're casting out lines, this beer comes in handy for both situations right there. So, but enough of me, yapping about this beer. I'm going to take a tug off this bad boy. Excellent. There you go. But yeah, get yourself some Big Grove Brewery Citrus Surfer Wheat Ale, and you can get it via stuff like Uber Eats or Instacart. I know that they deliver booze. They can go to Open Bar. Open Bar is an app on your phone. I think it's on both iOS and Android as well. I got GoPuff.com. That's a website that you can get beers, obscure beers, like beers you wouldn't find in your local stores, and it might cost you. Well, not might. It will cost you more money. It's if you want to get beer from an area that you don't live anywhere near from, they're gonna charge you. They're gonna charge you for that right there. So, but hey, some beer is worth it, and I would say Big Grove Brewery Citrus Surfer, if I can say it right, is very much worth it. But with that, we're gonna wrap up this brew review time. All right, let's get to it here, and there we go. Yeah, brew review brought to you by Bud Light. Yeah, no, I don't review piss water up in here. I don't review tranny fluid over there. So nope, that is not going to be part of my brew review time anytime soon. I have no idea what a Bad Bunny is at this point. I'm afraid to ask. Yeah, that's Soraya got it right. Yeah, it's going to be the dude who wears dresses and is supposed to perform at the Super Bowl right there. So yeah, and I think I agree with Jason Whitlock, the sports reporter there. I think I agree with his take that the NFL picking Bad Bunny, a guy that dresses, puts on dresses and puts on fake tits and all that, and hates Trump, hates America. I don't think he even speaks English. That's like just one big fuck you to Trump and MAGA and all that stuff. So and I think it holds especially true because where's the Super Bowl going to be held this year? San Francisco, right? Exactly. Home of all the homeless people, and hypodermic needles everywhere, and so much human shit all over the street. They had to invent a crap app, so you could make sure you're not stepping in, some doofus's, brownies and all that stuff. So yeah, it's taking place in south of San Francisco. I think what that stadium is not right in San Francisco, but in the Bay Area there. And of course, you'll see just like when Xi Jinping came to San Francisco. Remember how like Gavin Newsom, he was talking about like, well, it's so much work, we can't clean up San Francisco. And then the minute Xi Jinping, probably his boss, came to town, oh, it's amazing, we can clean up San Francisco all nice and spick and span and all nice and clean. And of course, when the Super Bowl shows up there, yeah, they'll flick all the homeless people out of the way, clean up all the shit and all that stuff there. But because it's in San Francisco, they thought, oh man, it being in San Francisco or in the Bay Area, yeah, let's get a racist, non-English speaking, cross-dressing rapper that hates America, hates Trump, hates 50% of this country, and let's have him be the Super Bowl halftime performer. There you go. Love it. Yeah, exactly. We're getting some of his Jay-Z. Yeah, his what is that? That Rocka or can't remember what his entertainment company is called. Yeah, like something like that. Something with rock in it, whatever. But yeah, so of course, yeah, if that's who's booking the shows right there, yeah, you're probably not going to have Willie Nelson as your halftime show anytime soon, or Metallica or Deftones or something like that. So not at all. There we go. Love it. All right. So what should we do next here, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? Oh, I know what I should do. I should tell you guys all about our fantastic merch that we have available here as far as Movies Merica merch goes there. And we do have a brand new merch website here. Let me do this here real quick. I'm going to do this. I'm going to get this all up in here and get you the right URL for the Movies Merica merch. There you go. Gotta love it. Gotta have it. Here we go. Let's get that going on here. There we go. Get that merch URL up in the live chat here for y'all. And that is it. There you go. That is up in there. There you go. There's that. And let's get up in here and we'll get that going there. All things. Oh, get out of here. Get out of here. There we go. And I'm going to pin that bad boy right up there. Absolutely. And see if we can do that. There we go. So you've got the link right there in the live chat right there for the brand new Movies merch website. Absolutely here. Let me get that over in YouTube as well. And you're probably going to hear my show here just temporarily while I bring up the YouTube show. Told you. Thought you're going to hear that. All right. Let's get that going on here. All right. Absolutely. Let's pin that up there. There we go. Excellent. Excellent right there. Getting everything going on right there. Crossing my T's, dotting my I's, getting it done. There we go. All right. So, but yeah, get in there and check out that the merch store at that merch link right there, because we've got like pretty cool hats. The first thing that caught my eye is we had a camo hat there with the big mugs, Movies Merica logo there. We've got shot glasses, pint glasses. You got like big covers for your desk that you can put. You can have right there. All kinds of stuff right there. Hoodies. Even got a sports bra out there with the beer mugs right there on where you can just imagine where they're at. So, but yeah, all kinds of stuff right there. Hey, and it's just in time for Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and Festivus and for the gift giving season. All right, so get in there and I always say, nothing says "I love you, Uncle Frank" like a Movies Merica hoodie. Okay, there you go. Get that going on there. So yeah, literally we're getting somebody. I would check out Fourth Wall. There, it's pretty cool. There, I like the professional look to the website as well. I like it better than Teespring there. Now, so yeah, so I'm digging the Fourth Wall there. It just kind of looks like it has a little extra credibility and professionalism to it there. But yeah, get in there and check out the website. And the products that we put in it, it's not the cheapy products, okay? Because when you go to these merch sites that let you set up like merch stores and all that stuff, they have like the very expensive T-shirts, and they have the very cheapy T-shirts, and then they have the middle of the road T-shirts. And we try to do the middle of the road T-shirts and middle of the road of the other products as well, so that we don't have to charge you too much. But at the same time, you're getting quality. You're not getting some T-shirt that's going to shrink 3 sizes when you get it, right? Or the collar is gonna rip, or it's gonna look like the T-shirt like the T-shirt's made out of paper towels or something like that. No, we want you to have quality, because I buy this stuff too. Would I want to buy myself shit? No, I want good stuff. There you go. Absolutely love it right there. And my grandma could use a new beer mug for her Jugs bikini top right there. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, you got beer mugs on both tits right there. Absolutely. So classy, very classy. All right, check it out. All right, let's get on here and move it on up and see what we got going on here. And we got some more One Battle After Another there. Yeah, Lunar 87. Yeah, it's a lot of great perks to Fourth Wall in there. It gets fun because it's got my and I mean this in the least gross, disgusting way possible. It's got my creative juices flowing. All right, it makes me want to think of all kinds of like cool images and stuff that we could put on merch and that kind of thing here. So now the understatement of the year is that One Battle After Another is a big old cinematic ice cream sundae for leftists. Okay, hence the wall-to-wall, 25 hours a day, 8 days a week glazing of this movie by most movie critics right here. So, but hey, don't take my word for it. I'll just show you right here. All right, let's get this going on.
Paul Thomas Anderson is known for making masterpiece after masterpiece, perfection after perfection. A lot of films we all really love, a lot of films that we all really enjoy. But with One Battle After Another, it seems that the early reaction was hyping this up to be the magnum opus of his entire career. And I'm ready to say it exceeds those expectations. This isn't just his magnum opus. This is simply one of the best films of this decade so far. And I absolutely love it. This is the type of movie that we just do not get nowadays. I know you might hear that hyperbole quite a bit. I've definitely said it before, and I've definitely meant it before. There are films that we get that we just don't get nowadays from Hollywood, but One Battle After Another is like to the highest degree of that nature. There is just something so simple about it, but so effective and so intense and so exciting and so exhilarating and so incredible.
But if you don't want to watch it, just know that we're recommending this film on the highest level. Like, it is a must-see, and it is spectacular. This movie knocked me on my ass for the entire runtime. And this is like a 2-hour and 45-minute film, right? I mean, it absolutely flew by. It was completely riveting. Just from the standpoint of a thriller or action film, this is one of the very best I have ever seen, and I think it achieves that not just through its propulsive filmmaking and editing and just stunning direction, but the intrigue of the subject matter and the tour of modern authoritarian America.
We really, really need to let Hollywood know that it's okay for filmmakers like Paul Thomas Anderson to get a budget of $130 million, because I loved this movie. I adored everything about it. It is so unconventional in its approach. Everything you would expect to see in a movie that focuses on freedom fighters and revolutionaries and the government and the cops trying to bring them down. None of those things come to fruition. Everything about this movie feels unique, feels very much so Paul Thomas Anderson, but it's also a 2-hour, 41-minute movie that has car chases, explosions, gunplay, great character interactions, dark comedy. Definitely holds up a mirror against our current country and the things that are going on around us. And I just thought it was absolutely brilliant. I loved this film so much. I am just so excited it exists. This feels like a movie with a capital M.
Because I saw One Battle After Another, and I loved nearly every second of this. But let's strap in now, okay? This is simply how you do it, all right? This is how it's fucking done. It is just nice to see something where you know it's gonna be good. From the opening few minutes, I just felt so at ease. I'm like, Yes, like I can sink into this seat now. Like I am in your hands. I'm not afraid.
Oh, who could have seen that coming? Oh, one battle after another. It flopped. Oh, yes, it most certainly did. All right, we're talking about a movie that cost at least 130 million, and that's even like the commie movie reviewers copping to that. 130 million dollars, 130 million dollars, and it only made 22 million domestically, and then I can't remember what it made globally, but whatever. 48 million minus 22 is right there. I'm not a I'm not a math minion over here. So, but yeah, it only made 48 million total worldwide right there against $130 million budget at least. Okay. And you have to make 2.5 times 130 million. All right. Because in order to be profitable, in order not to lose money and be a bomb right there, because movie theaters don't show your movie for free. All right. Most of the time, they make about 49% of that movie. So you're not making 100% of the profit for the movie theater. Then on top of that, the 130 million, that's just to produce the movie. That's not to market the movie. So typically marketing is like half the movie budget there. So you've got that you have to recoup for there. So that's what they say the general rule is a movie has to make 2.5 times its budget in order to its production budget in order to not lose money here. And so, yeah, one battle after another. Good luck. All right. Cause you're not making that money back, and not with making only 48 million worldwide there. And I don't care how long a legs that you have. Okay. I don't care if this movie gets such good word of mouth that it's in theaters for the next 6 months. All right. You are not going to make enough money to be profitable, not with that right there. Plus, the good word of mouth is only one movie critic to another movie critic. Okay, Norm and Normie didn't go see this movie, so who the hell out there other than these commie movie critics are out there to spread any kind of word about this movie right here? Okay, so just because they're all in their circle jerk, all praising this movie. That's their bubble praising this movie. That isn't like Ma and Pa Kent out in Wichita, Kansas. Okay, they probably saw this trailer. If they saw the trailer at all, they're like, "I'm not watching that. Hell no! It looks like there's a bunch of Antifa rioters that they're trying to market to me as the heroic protagonist of this movie. I'm not gonna go see that shit. No. Okay, so now, of course, like I said, the communist movie reviewers that dropped on their knees for this movie right there. Oh, they love it. They love the idea of Antifa terrorists being the protagonist. Now, of course, like they wouldn't call them Antifa terrorists, right? They would call them rebels, right? Or revolutionaries, kind of like the two guys that I showed you the video of earlier right there. Yeah, they wouldn't call them terrorists. Like they wouldn't actually call them what they actually are. They would call them revolutionaries, rebels, and all that bullshit. There. So, Linda Rig 87. These reviews make me know it's gonna be gay. Yep, absolutely. So there you go. Especially the two twins on there. And twins. Yeah. No, they weren't the good kind of twins like on those old commercials. They're not at all. All right here. So, and then of course, at the end of the movie, the happy ending that they sell to us as the happy ending to this movie is that Leonardo DiCaprio's character Bob, okay, he's got this daughter, okay, and as it turns out here, big spoiler, all right, but Willa, the girl that he thought was his daughter, turns out she's not his daughter, all right. Her dad is the Sean Penn character, okay, the Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, the main bad guy in this movie, the guy, the big racist, xenophobe, blah, 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 right? Okay. Basically, the guy that's supposed to be Tom Holman in this movie right there. Okay, so there you go. It turns out that Willa is not really, not Leo DiCaprio's character's kid. She's Sean Penn's daughter in this. And so after all the smoke clears and, after, I was going to say Leo DiCaprio saves her, but basically she saves herself, really. And then Leonardo DiCaprio's character, Bob, just shows up after the fact, like, oh, hey, oh, you killed everybody. Okay, hey, I'm here to rescue you. Hey, after he rescues her, and then Sean Penn's character gets killed off by the Christmas Adventurers Club that he was trying to join, you have your happy ending. Well, the supposed happy ending is that they go back to living in their piece of shit house in that sanctuary city, and Willa hears word that there's a protest that's going on in Oakland. Okay, and she's like, "Hey, Dad, I'm gonna go to the protest in Oakland." There, he's like, "It's 3 hours away. Doesn't matter. It's never too far for justice, man." Or something to that effect, right? And that's kind of what they imply with that. And so the happy ending is they both they're reunited, they're living their lives, and she's gonna go and be Daddy's little rioter. Okay, so and part of the theme about the movie is, and this is something that even the commie movie reviewers that love this movie say, is that this movie isn't. It's not a straight up like, hey, it sure is swell to be an Antifa. Okay, it sure is swell to be a domestic terrorist. So this movie does show that it's hard to be a domestic terrorist. It's hard to be an Antifa there because you've got the government on your ass all the time, all right? And so much so that it did ruin Bob's life. It did ruin his girlfriend's life, who he was with, the even more demented and radicalized member of the French 75 Antifa group that he was part of. It ruined their lives. Okay, they can't live free anymore. They're always looking behind their back for Johnny Law, and it doesn't. Their claim is it doesn't sell that Antifa is a good thing. Like going out there and being a rioter and being a domestic terrorist is not a good thing. But then at the end, Willa decides to go down that same road that ruined her mom's life and then ruined her stepdad's life and that kind of thing. So it's just, item number 5,313 of this movie that makes no sense whatsoever there. So, but anyway, as I go to grab my beer here. So, hey, everybody, drink up. Excellent. All right. So, pressing on, moving on, everybody. Let's get on with it. And let's do this here real quick. Okay, so the word is out. The word is out. It's not just me that knows. It's not now just you that knows. The word is out that one battle after another has flopped at the box office. Okay, here. And so, even the industry shill rags that love to shine, manufacture the best lights, the ones that like to, spit shine, any kind of turd that comes out of Hollywood that likes to, spray whipped cream on a turd and call it an ice cream sundae. Those kind of shills, those kind of publications and magazines and all that kind of stuff, they're coming out and now they're trying to sugarcoat or explain why one battle after another has failed. And so they and Slash Film is one of the biggest shills for Hollywood that you will ever see here. So let me do this here real quick. I'm gonna get out of that and show you this here. Show you what I'm talking about. There we go. Share that up. Get over here. Load that up. There we go. All right. Show that up. There we go. And so, like I said, here we've got Slash Film right here. And I just want to show you their article just full of wisdom about why they think the 5 reasons why they think One Battle After Another flopped at the box office. And you'll notice, when I get through here or as I'm going through here, one of the obvious things that they completely glossed over here. So reason number 5 here that they give, or reason number 1 here, is an oversized budget killed One Battle After Another. Okay. And I was touching on this a little earlier, that the movie budget for this, the production budget for this is at least 130 million. And, like I was saying right here, they also agree with me, though most reports seem to suggest it was higher than that. And so because the budget was so high that it just makes it virtually impossible for this movie to make money right here. And like they point out, Christopher Nolan made Oppenheimer for $30 million less, at least $30 million less than this right here. Sinners, the actual hit movie from earlier this year, it was made for $90 million. Okay, but for some reason, Paul Thomas Anderson needed 130 million to make this movie. And when you watch the movie, you're like, wait, this cost 130 million? What? Like, where's the spaceships? Where's the big explosions? Like, where's all the world building? Like, this movie cost 130 million? What are you talking about here? So, all right. And then their second reason. Paul Thomas Anderson isn't a big commercial director. Then why give him 130 million? Why, Warner Brothers? Why? Why give him 130 million? And I suspect maybe because, well, the decision makers at Warner Brothers, they loved the idea of this movie. They love this movie basically being a big bird flip at Trump and MAGA and over 50% of the country that hates Antifa and doesn't want illegal aliens in this country. And so they love the idea of having a movie that did that. And so they're like, oh yeah, no amount of money is too much to produce something like that. And then they got Paul Thomas Anderson. And so even though they know that Paul Thomas Anderson, he's never made a hit movie as far as box office goes in his life. Okay, not even Boogie Nights, was some big money maker at the box office or anything like that. Not at all there. So that's their second reason is they say Paul Thomas Anderson isn't a big commercial director, even though I keep hearing all these comic critics, they keep acting like they expected One Battle After Another to be this big commercial success. But now they're coming out and they're kind of retconning things, going, "Oh, well, yeah, but I mean, Paul Thomas Anderson isn't a commercial director, so we can't expect it to be a big hit, even though, like, for the last week, we expected the movie to be a big hit." All right, there, because you guys are all basically talking a lot of yang, going, this movie, we'll show you One Battle After Another. Oh, it's going to be a big box office hit. All right, so take that, MAGA. All right. Reason number 3 here, if we get down here, Leonardo DiCaprio may no longer be the box office draw he once was there. So, and they go on to say that, he stars in some pretty big movies, Titanic, Inception. I would throw in Blood Diamond and The Departed, movies like that. So, and so he's been in some big movies there, but those movies weren't looking to alienate, a major portion of the country, a major portion of your audience. Okay. There was nothing about Titanic and Inception that said, you know what? Hey, conservatives, you're not welcome. You can just kindly fuck off and not see our movie. Okay. Or see our movie and be offended, because we want you to be offended. We want you we want you to have stress and all that stuff. So maybe they want you to see that there. But anyway, but my point is, Inception and Titanic they weren't divisive movies. Okay. So there's something about making your movie non-divisive that helps at the box office. I know. It's mind-blowing here. So, all right. I think that was reason number 4. That's number 3. Then we got overseas box office can't come to the rescue anymore. And why would some overseas audience give a shit about this movie? I mean, it's talking about it's talking about like politics in America. We're talking about a uniquely American problem. Well, not uniquely American. I mean, we've got a lot of Western countries that are, for some reason, self-destroying their countries by engaging in just casual, cavalier, destructive, hey, everybody can just come on in, open borders, okay? And especially like look at the UK, look at France. They're further along than we are. They're further down the shitter and further down the drain than we are. I mean, one day we'll be where they're at. I mean, if we don't stop things, we'll be where UK and France are, and where you can't walk down the street in UK without some extremist Muslim coming in and stabbing you in the neck because he thinks you're the infidel. We're getting to that point. We're getting to that point, and that's another reason why don't get rid of your guns, okay? Because when you get some sick ass psycho, kill crazy, murderous, extremist Muslim coming at somebody with a knife here in this country, well, that's when you need to bust out your Desert Eagle and you blow them right out of their fucking socks. Okay, they don't have that luxury. Like Brits don't have that luxury over there in the UK. Okay, they're like, I have no gun. Here comes Ahmed at me with a knife. I've never taken a martial arts class in my life. Prepare to die. Oh, there you go. Okay, so that's so. But one day, our Democrat politicians, they're trying to get us to that point where walking down the street is more of a safety issue. It's more dangerous and all that stuff. They want that. They want American citizens living in fear and being victims of crime and all that stuff. Because again, these are people. They don't love America, and they sure shit don't love American citizens right there. And if you're sitting there, you're Mr. Normie Norm, and you're like, how can that be? That can't be. They're Americans. How can they hate other Americans? How can they hate this country? They live here. Yeah, they live here, but they still hate the country. Okay, right there. They still enjoy the luxuries of our country right there while hating it at the same time, because they think like whenever America is divided enough to destroy itself, that they're gonna have a seat at the new royal table. Okay, at the table that all the leaders and the elites will be sitting at. They think that they've got a seat at that table all wrapped up. So they're like, oh, America can destroy itself. I don't care because I'm going to be at the table. I'm going to be one of the elites. Yeah, millions will die, but they won't be me. They won't be my loved ones. I'll still be alive while all you people will die, and I'll be still alive sitting at the table with all the elites, with all the fellow elites. So I don't care if America dies. So that's how they can live in this country and still hate it and still hate other American citizens right there. And I know people hate to hear it. I don't like to say it. I don't like to believe it, but it's true. All right. I would much rather just stick my head in the sand and just think, hey, everyone's looking out for everybody else, and there's no corrupt pieces of shit in the government, and none of my fellow citizens have been completely indoctrinated to be America-hating commies. Okay, so I would love to just stick my head in the sand and pretend that that's the case right there, but unfortunately, we don't live in that world right there. So, all right, I think there's one more reason they gave here. Oh yeah, so this is reason number 5 for why they think One Battle After Another flopped at the box office, and it is One Battle After Another didn't become a must-see cinematic event. So they say, for better or worse, the big movies that manage to become breakout hits these days also tend to be the ones that have become must-see cinematic events. Think Barbie, Sinners, or Wicked. Warner Brothers is better at selling these events than arguably anybody else in the business right now, but the studio simply couldn't accomplish that, at least on opening weekend, with One Battle After Another. Despite Warner Brothers pushing the premium format experience here, including the rarely discussed VistaVision and IMAX, One Battle After Another didn't move the needle much for the average moviegoer. Ultimately, the film debuted below even the likes of The Accountant 2 and the John Wick spinoff Ballerina. Those aren't friendly comps for a movie of this size, right there. So you get the idea with that right there. So, but again, this is these are their 5 reasons why One Battle After Another flopped at the box office. Of course, they're completely glossing over the obvious number one reason, which is you made a movie that told more than half the country to go screw themselves, okay? And you made a movie that glorifies Antifa, okay? Because that's what this domestic terrorist group that Leo DiCaprio and other characters are part of in this movie, called the group called French 75. They're basically Antifa, okay? And you created a movie expecting people to go in there and think the good guys are Antifa-like domestic terrorists, okay? Who would you think was going to go see that movie besides a bunch of commie movie reviewers and, a bunch of people that have been, thoroughly indoctrinated at any of the number of commie cathedrals, aka colleges and universities throughout the country, okay? There's a lot of people that they want the best for this country, including, and as part of that, they want all people that have broken into our country, no matter what race, creed, or color, okay? I've always said, and of course, the commies will never agree, never believe me, but, I'll always say, it's not about brown people or black people and kicking them out of our country. No, if the majority of illegal aliens were a bunch of white, blue-eyed, blonde-haired, Norwegians or something, I'd want them kicked out of the country too. I'm like, yeah, get them out of the country, get them out of there, whatnot. But that completely torpedoes, the point that a lot of commies try to make. Oh, you just don't want illegal aliens in here because you hate brown people. They're like that. Like, nope. I don't like any asshole that breaks into my house and leeches off all my shit. I don't like that. Okay, whether they're white, brown, black, purple dot, polka dot, purple, green, whatever. I don't care. Okay, I want them out. Okay, there you go. And so so that's the big reason. That's a big reason why this movie flopped at the box office right here. So, but of course they gloss over that there. So, all right, there you go. But yeah, just, leave it to none other than Slash Film. One of the biggest shill publications there that always are looking out for Hollywood and always more than willing to spray some whipped cream on the Hollywood turd to make it look like an ice cream sundae there. So you got it. All right, let's do this here real quick. We are getting to my favorite segment of every Movies Merica spoiler warning show that we do, or that I do on Thursday. And that, of course, is the movie Military Moment. And so you may be asking yourself, hey, Van, what is the movie Military Moment? Well, I shall tell you. Okay, so the movie Military Moment, what it is the opportunity that I afford myself to pay tribute to a veteran that has been awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. Okay, and so I give myself a few minutes to do that here, and so I just think it's great. I'm happy to do it. Okay, and it just makes me feel good. Okay, and now you may be saying to yourself, you may be saying, "Hey, Van, that's great. Very admirable." Okay, but what the hell does that have to do with movies? Okay, and you know what? You make a good point. All right, you make a good point. I totally understand where you're coming from, and I do owe you an explanation, but not until after this. All right, I owe you an explanation. And so the connection between the movie Military Moment and me honoring a Congressional Medal of Honor winner here, and excuse me, I'm all choked up already, and movies is, picture this. As you would imagine, if you are a recipient of a Congressional Medal of Honor, you didn't get it for eating the most chow at the base chow hall, right? Or kissing the most ass. Well, you might get it for, no, never mind. I'm just kidding. You don't get it for being like the best letter sorter at the base post office, right? You don't get it for something lame like that, right? You get it for doing something heroic and courageous, and something where if you saw it in real life, you'd be like, oh my God, I can't believe what I'm seeing. Oh my, wow. I'll never forget this. This is going to be seared into my brain for the rest of my life. Okay. It could be something, where, you're in Guadalcanal during World War II and you guys are coming up over a ridge and, there's a bunch of Japanese pillboxes up above right there, with, machine guns in them, and a bunch of Japs, and they're ready to kill. Okay. They're like, they see you, but you don't see them. All right. And you're going up there, and then the fighting begins, and you're up there, and you're just killing people left and right. And you do something like you run out of ammo, and you see all your buddies over there, and there's a bunch of Japs in a pillbox, and they're about to mow down all your buddies over there, and you've got no weapons whatsoever. You got no rounds left whatsoever, but you do have one grenade. And after you've killed like 75 people via gun, bayonet, whatever, and you're like, I've already, you're not thinking this, but if someone were to look at it objectively, you're like, man, that guy's kicked a lot of ass. And now you see this Japanese pillbox is about to mow down all your buddies over there, and you want to save their lives, and you're like, all right, I don't care about my life. I care about my brother's lives over there more than I care about my own life. So you pull the pin on that grenade, you run into that pillbox, and sure, you take yourself out, but you take out all those Japs as well, saving your brother's lives over there, okay? And people see you do that, and when they see you do that, they're like, oh my God, I can't believe this. Wow. And if you saw something like that on a big movie screen in front of you, it would be an amazing movie military moment. And that's the connection, everybody, to me paying tribute to Congressional Medal of Honor recipients and movies there, okay? So, and now that I've explained that here, let's meet this evening's recipient, or this evening's honoree for the movie military moment. And that is one Major Patrick Henry Brady, who fought in the Vietnam War. And I think the good Major deserves some very cool movie military moment music while we learn more about him here. Don't you think? I think so. I think that's only right there. Okay. So let's take care of that music situation, shall we? Let's do it right now. This is the movie military moment. And in this movie military moment, we pay tribute to one Major Patrick Henry Brady, who fought for us in the Vietnam War. And let's learn more about Major Brady, shall we? For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity in action at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, Major Brady distinguished himself while serving in the Republic of Vietnam, commanding a UH-1H ambulance helicopter, volunteered to rescue wounded men from a site in enemy-held territory, which was reported to be heavily defended and to be blanketed by fog. To reach the site, he descended through heavy fog and smoke and hovered slowly along a valley trail, turning his ship sideward to blow away the fog with the backwash from his rotor blades. Despite the unchallenged close-range enemy fire, he found the dangerously small site where he successfully landed and evacuated 2 badly wounded South Vietnamese soldiers. He was then called to another area completely covered by dense fog where American casualties lay only 50 meters from the enemy. 2 aircraft had previously been shot down and others had made unsuccessful attempts to reach the site earlier in the day. With unmatched skill and extraordinary courage, Major Brady made 4 flights to this embattled landing zone and successfully rescued all of the wounded. On his 3rd mission of the day, Major Brady once again landed at a site surrounded by the enemy. The friendly ground force, pinned down by enemy fire, had been unable to reach and secure the landing zone. Although his aircraft had been badly damaged and his controls partially shot away during his initial entry into this area, he returned minutes later and rescued the remaining injured. Shortly thereafter, obtaining a replacement aircraft, Major Brady was requested to land in an enemy minefield where a platoon of American soldiers were trapped. A mine detonated near his helicopter, wounding 2 crew members and damaging his ship. In spite of this, he managed to fly 6 severely injured patients to medical aid. Throughout that day, Major Brady utilized 3 helicopters to evacuate a total of 51 seriously wounded men, many of whom would have perished without prompt medical treatment. Major Brady's bravery was in the highest traditions of the military service and reflects great credit upon himself and the U.S. Army. And we salute you, Major Patrick Henry Brady, for what you did to be awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor. All right. And yeah, that's just fantastic hearing all about Major Brady and checking out the heroic deeds of one Major Brady here. And again, that was in Vietnam where that took place. And, you know, if you happen to know, like say if you happen to know the family of Major Patrick Henry Brady or, you know, some friends or something like that, feel free to let them know about this episode here. And so that maybe if they feel like it, they can check out this tribute to their loved one right there. They might, get a kick out of it. Is kind of not the right way of putting it, but they might be touched. It might really move them to see a tribute to their loved one right there. And you don't have to wait for me to do the movie Military Moments to check out stories of these brave heroes and their heroics. You can go to cmohs.org/recipients. Again, that's cmohs.org/recipients to check out all the stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor recipients right there. Okay, so with that has been the movie Military Moment. All right, let's get to the rest of the show right here. And this is the part where I remind you that, hey, if you are appreciating the show enough to where you want to throw a buck or two my way, why you most certainly can do that very thing. You just have to do that via Rumble and what they call a Rumble rant. And so how that works in Rumble is, so if you're in the live chat already, so you got the live chat window already open, down by where you type in your live chat message there's a button with a $sign on it. You just got to click on that. It'll open up another window, and it'll just ask you how much you want to donate to this knucklehead right here. And that's it. Just got to pick how much and then hit save or pay or something like that. And that's all there is to it. And that's how you do it in Rumble. Now, how you do it in YouTube is very similar, okay? So in the live chat window, again, down by where you type in a live chat message, just find the button that looks like a dollar bill or that has a dollar bill on it. Click on that. That'll open up another window, again, asking you how much you want to donate. And that's it. It's very simple, very easy right there. And again, that's only if you feel that I deserve it there. I know that sometimes I watch shows, I'm like, there ain't no way. Ain't no way I'm throwing any money at this guy or gal. No way. So only if you're compelled, or sometimes people can't afford it. I get it. So I will never be that guy that guilt trips people into throwing money my way during my show right there. If I'm not doing well enough to get any kind of donations or anything like that, hey, you know what? I need to stop my crying. Nobody cares. Work smarter. There you go. All right. But enough of that right there. Let's move on here. Right now is when I want to let you know what movie I will be reviewing next week. Okay, obviously this past week was one battle after another. Upcoming this week will be The Smashing Machine with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. And it's the one where he plays like Mark Kerr, who was a UFC fighter in the early days of UFC there. And that's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. Okay, but I plan on seeing that there. And so that'll be the movie that I will be spoiler-free reviewing this Sunday on my Movies Merica live show. And that comes on Sunday afternoon at 4 Eastern, 3 Central, 2 Mountain, and 1 Pacific this Sunday afternoon right there. So, hey, feel free to stop on in, for a few minutes. I know, the NFL games will be on there, but what I hear a lot of people do is, they just pause the NFL games there, long enough to where for the rest of the game, they could fast forward through all the dipshit commercials right there. And then while they're pausing that game, they turn on my show and they listen to my show and get some information about the movie that I'm spoiler-free reviewing that day, okay? And then, they don't watch for the whole time. They just watch long enough to where they can pause the NFL, the game they're watching, so that way they can fast forward through the commercials and whatnot. And then, like the rest of the time, they keep the show on. They just mute it, okay? Because they don't want to, they don't want it playing over the game, right? That's what a lot of people do during, NFL and college games and whatnot. Because I hate the commercials are so annoying. So that's what I do with other people's shows too. I'll play other people's shows on Rumble and YouTube there while I've got the games paused, so I can fast forward through all the commercials there. But so yeah, The Smashing Machine. That's what I'll be talking about on this Sunday afternoon on Movies Merica Live. You'll see the links for the show to join the show out on my X account, or you can just go. The X account that I have is Movies Merica, at Movies Merica. Makes sense, right? Or you can just go to Rumble or YouTube and just look up, The Smashing Machine, Movies Merica, and you'll find me real quick there as well. You can find the links to watch the show that way as well. And then, of course, a week from tonight for Movies Merica spoiler warning, I will be doing a spoilery deep dive into The Smashing Machine. Okay, so Sunday is all about spoiler free. Thursday night is though when we throw off the shackles and we party and we get all spoilery with the movies there. And so yeah, check it out. The Smashing Machine. I'll be talking about next week there. And all I can say is I'm pretty sure it'll be better than One Battle After Another. There. So, and I should say about One Battle After Another, like it's a technically good looking movie. It's a good looking movie. The cinematography is good. So I say that just because it technically it's on point. You can tell Paul Thomas Anderson has done a lot of movies, and so the movie is good technically in a lot of areas. Okay, so now that does not include the soundtrack. The soundtrack sucks. Okay, by Johnny Greenwood. But that's of course that's one of the things that a lot of the commie movie critics are praising, is they love the soundtrack to One Battle After Another. Not this guy right here, not at all. All right, let's double check here, make sure I'm not missing out on anything here. And while I'm checking that out, feel free, if you would, to follow me on any of the platforms that I am on. I'm on Rumble, and you'll see like multiple Movies Merica accounts on Rumble. And if you would just follow all the movies, I think there's like 3 on there. So yeah, follow all 3 accounts on there. It doesn't cost you anything. Okay. I'm on X under at Movies Merica. So feel free to, please follow me on X there and check out my posts there. I post on there probably like once a day. And if you see any posts you like, hey, feel free to like, comment on them and whatnot. I'm also on Facebook. I've got a group and a page called Movies Merica on Facebook. Also, I'm on there under Van Ebert there, as you see right there. There you go. I've got a Van Ebert profile on Facebook. You ever heard of Letterboxd? Ever heard of Criticless? Those are a couple of great sites that have movie reviews on there. I'm on Criticless. I'm on Letterboxd. So yeah, go ahead and follow me on those platforms there as well. I'm on Gab there as well. So yeah, check me out on all those platforms. Follow me there. You'll find that I'm under at Movies Merica or Movies Merica on all those platforms, for that whole, continuity thing. There you go. So, hey, if you want, DM me or direct message me. That's what that stands for on my @Movies Merica X account. Okay. So when you go to my @Movies Merica X account, there'll be like an envelope button there you can click on, and just click on the envelope button. That's how you DM me. Hey, and let me know. Hey, Van, I followed you on this platform and that platform and that platform, and I will follow you back on those platforms right there. Okay. So now, amazingly enough, I haven't had anybody take me up on that, which just floors me. Because like a lot of people are like, oh, man, why don't I have more followers on my stuff? I'm giving you an avenue to get more followers. All right, or at least one more there, and it doesn't cost you anything. You just go into my DMs on X and just say, hey, Van, I followed you on all these platforms. Here's my username, and then I'll follow you back. Very simple, very easy, right there. You won't find a whole lot of people making you that same offer. Not at all. Not at all. There. So, but yeah, check that out here. All right, what do we got here? So, okay, there we go. And hey, real quick here, just some buddies of mine that you should check out on Rumble. Go ahead and just look up like Sean Cav. So it's spelled SHAWN, and then Cav like Cavalier or Kavanaugh. Sean Cav live on Rumble. Great show right there. Check out the Till Death podcast network on YouTube and Rumble. Then you can also look up the Whiskey Capitalist podcast there on Rumble as well. Check out that show. And then you got the Fury Cast network as well. So those are just some just kind of turning you on to some other great shows on Rumble there to check out, in addition to Movies Merica. All right. So, okay, getting ready to wrap up this episode of Movies Merica. Spoiler warning here, all about one battle after another, but hopefully I've done my job and dissuaded you from seeing that cinematic piece of shit known as One Battle After Another right there. And and hey, you know what? Hey, don't say I didn't warn you. If you guys go see it and you're like, oh man, why didn't somebody warn me? I was here to warn you. You just didn't watch. There you go. But all right, hey, with that, everybody, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/moviesmerica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday. You can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later. Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here down below. It's right down there. It's just waiting. It's waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon.